Season 55, War number 6. Today we've matched up against CZSK, or Night Guardians, and the bands are Beta Ray Bill, Corvus, Medusa, Silk, and Deadpool X-Force. And my team today is Scream, Dazzler, and Count Nefaria. And we're going to start this war on Path 8. In this war, we're going to be using Dazzler for 4 fights. One of them is going to be a Tactic Defender. And I'm pretty excited to show this because I haven't really gotten the opportunity to take Dazzler to war yet. I was aware in the off-season that she can take Tactic Defenders due to the fact that she doesn't gain a dex buff to expire, so as long as those placebos keep refreshing themselves on you, she can just easily take Tactic and stuff. So we're going to be taking a Tactic Defender at the end of the war, but in the meantime we're fighting this Sauron on Node 8, which is a very easy Dazzler fight. She rips apart so many defenders, and Sauron is absolutely no exception to that. The only way this fight can possibly go wrong is if I somehow eat some hits and he crits me, like, on a couple of those hits. Because with the guaranteed crit buff that he has, not guaranteed crit buff, the massive cruelty that he has, it would hurt very badly. So we just plan on not getting hit, and he dies in just over 30 seconds. And we move on to this Chavez on Node 17, taking this fight with Count Nefaria. It's very weird to see Count Nefaria open, because usually he is banned, but this alliance definitely targeted their bans at a couple different mini-bosses, specifically Node 38 Sentinel and Node 43 Arcade. Those were some that their bans were definitely targeted towards, among maybe a couple others. I actually think they had a very strong ban system, considering what their map looked like, so props to them for that. But yeah, this Chavez is going to go down pretty fast. Because of the node that is reducing my ability accuracy per buff on her, I don't really get to trigger my evade as often as I'd like to, because it's, you know, subject to defensive ability accuracy. But it's still Count Nefaria versus a generic Mystic champ. She just dies so fast. So now we're on Path 5 in Section 2, fighting this Black Panther Civil War. Normally you see him on 5A instead of 5B, but I do think this is a relatively stressful fight, we'll put it that way, due to the fact that if Black Panther decides to do a random walk-up intercept, that the AI loves to do now, and you just get caught somehow, it could be very bad. Speaking of getting caught, I swear I dashed away from that, but I guess I was too slow. So I ate his heavy attack, and that was maybe the biggest heart-stopping moment I've ever had in War this season, because that was utterly terrifying. So we get the intercept there, and he dies now, but that was so scary. So yeah, and that SP2 is a lot of overkill, like 100,000 damage in overkill, so we'll take it. And now we move on to this Thanos on Node 32. So when I was making assignments for this war, because I do war planning, I genuinely didn't know what to send to this. So I was like, you know what, I'll take it myself with Nefaria, because the one thing I do know with Nefaria is that this guy can take like 1 billion hits and still finish the fight at like 90% because of how unbearably tanky he is. So we're going to immediately start by eating hits. I'm trying to get an intercept off, but he just won't let me do it until I eventually trigger it with my counter evade, which I knew I could do. I just didn't want to do it because I wanted to save my counter evade for when I could use it to build up some of the ionic charges. Anyway, yeah, this fight, I just didn't have a lot of great ideas for what would be a good counter to it. So yeah, I just settled with Nefaria. Because I knew I could just take as many hits as I wanted to, and I'd probably still be pretty healthy, because that's just how Nefaria is. And the fight goes pretty well. It's not very fast, because, you know, Nefaria wants to have debuffs, so when they're getting purified by both Mighty Charge and Ebb and Flow Intercept, it definitely makes the fight a bit more annoying. Also, that was a weird interaction where Panic stopped my evade, but it also triggered the Unfazed Mastery. Very weird interaction, but it's fine, it's whatever. So here, I was hoping he'd drop a special. He didn't drop the special. Baiting it out, and then he finally does. I'm still at 95% health. Like, At this point in the fight, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be okay. It's just going to take a long time. Their unfazed triggered again when my evade failed. I really just need to find a way to get him down and hopefully have some debuffs lined up. And yeah, I'm just spamming heavy for the slow, hoping that he will go for a special attack as often as he wants to. That's a weird sentence. I don't know, man. I'm just like trying to get this fight down as fast as I can. And now we're doing some pretty decent damage. We have a decent bit of debuffs and furies going, I mean. And yeah, we're at 92% health. I'm taking hits here. He crits me a lot too, which is breaking through a bunch of my resistances. But I'm also siphoning back a bunch of health due to Nefaria's Sig ability. So I'm going to go for an SP2 here, right into his Unstoppable. And I'm going to eat more hits, but it literally doesn't matter. Nefaria is stupid, man. The amount of tankiness in this one character is absurd. And then Thanos goes down in a little bit more than 2 minutes. So all things considered, I'm very happy with how that fight went. If I had more time to think about it, I might have came up with a better option than Nefaria, but clearly Nefaria just does that fight just fine anyway. So yeah, now we are going to move on to Scream versus this Red Skull on Node 39. This fight sucks. I planned this for myself, obviously. I thought this was going to be way easier than it actually was. I'm speeding it up because it's just a long and boring fight. But I thought that getting the Undermine active with Scream would be a lot easier than it really was. Because my buffs just keep getting eaten by Power Snack. Like, I knew Power Snack would be there. I knew the Withers would take control of it. But I just kind of thought that I could still get my Undermines up quicker than I really was. So, yeah, I wouldn't send Scream here again. Absolutely not. But, this fight's going to be a solo. It just takes a really long time, and it looks like I just don't know what I'm doing. Because, to be honest, I didn't. Because this fight was just going so horribly. But, yeah. Anyway, he goes Unstoppable here, too, because the Nullify triggered, and then he procced an Unstoppable. So, there goes an SP2 that might have killed him, potentially. Not sure. There's a slow that didn't prevent the Unstoppable. That's also cool. Anyway, we're just getting this guy down slowly but surely. Heavy attack there just to knock him away. And to get auto blocks there, it doesn't really matter. I just want him to die at this point. The regens are nice from both Willpower and Scream's kit. My Scream is... No, okay, the Sig... does the Sig impact how her regen triggers? I genuinely don't know. I think the Sig gives her the regen. And my Scream is Sig 200 because she's a 6-star, so I can relatively easily do that. So yeah. And now we're fighting Onslaught on node 41 with Dazzler. I've done this before in off-season. It's a really, really easy fight with Dazzler. So as long as he just throws specials relatively often, we're going to be big chillin'. Keyword is relatively often. At the start of the fight, he really just doesn't feel like it. But then we're going to get into the rhythm of it. Do the Dazzling Dash into his block, which is going to place the passive stun. Reminder that Onslaught cannot miss when I have a Neuroshock on me, but as long as I don't have a Neuro on me, we can just do the Falter whenever we feel like it. I dex his special 2 properly, and then we go back in, do a couple heavies, because she turns off Stand Your Ground, so you can just chain heavies and never have to worry about it anymore. And because of the fact that you have that Falter on your dash attack, you don't ever have to worry about getting rooted during Onslaught specials. As long as, again, of course, you do not have a Neuroshock on you, so the Falter actually works. Alright, next fight of the war is going to be against this Arcade, and this is going to be my first death in 3 seasons. So, last war, I didn't know it yet, but I hit 200 solos in a row in war. So this was fight number 207, and this is when I'm going to die. And I knew how this fight worked. I had a game plan going into it. I just couldn't get it to go right. Here, I made a mistake. I should be going for an SP3, Instead, I'm just going to go for dropping the SP2, which was really pointless. Like, I should totally be going for an SP3 here. Because the SP2 just did nothing. I lost all my madness. Like, it was a really bad move. And I die here because I really just play bad. Like, genuinely, I've sent another Scream player in my own battle group to this, and they soloed it. I just couldn't do it myself. Get an auto block there. And I really just want an Undermine, but I'm just having trouble getting it. I'm not getting things to line up properly. He drops an SP1 into my block, which is super cool. And whenever we go into that poison phase, he's going to start gaining arcade tokens because of Hazard Shift proccing a poison on me. So that's how he's going to gain tokens. And that just means he's going to auto-block a bunch. There, I couldn't dex out of his special 2 for some reason. Get auto-blocked again, eat another SP1. My debuffs are falling off, so I'm taking shock damage. And I'm like, yeah, it's over. I can't recover from this. So, yeah. It sucks. It's a fight that I should have soloed. I've literally sent another person in my battle group who soloed it. So we're going to go back in, and I'm going to get it better on the second attempt at least. Not exactly in a great headspace, so I still don't play this fight perfectly by any means. I intercepted there is super awesome. Love that. Look, I have an Undermine active. That's a first. If only I could have gotten one of those the first attempt. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off, but I really should just blame myself for this because I genuinely should have played this fight so much better. So yeah, I don't know what the hell I was doing there. I just kind of let him auto-block me. Had an Undermine there, so that's nice. Get a few more debuffs active, so dropping an SP2 here does decent bit of damage, but not as much as I'd have liked it to do. Don't have any madness to get any Undermines, so I just block another SP2. I have to consume my madness for an auto-block here. And yeah, he's in the Incinerate phase now. But I don't have any fervors, so I'm not really placing any debuffs. Then I do the heavy attack, which does place a few. And then he finally goes down. So, yeah, we had a 206 fight Deathless streak, and then it ended at 207. I was due. So, I mean, I was due to make a fatal mistake sooner or later, so it's whatever. Now we're fighting Spiral on node 48. With Dazzler, this is the tactic fight that I said we were going to use Dazzler for, because she doesn't gain a dex buff, she doesn't gain any expiring buffs in her kit, so the only thing you have to worry about is placebos expiring, and you get placebos on you so often because it's just making contact with the opponent places them, and I really don't need to worry about them expiring at all. And if they do expire, I just have to wait out a little bit of Unstoppable, which on some nodes is probably an issue. On this node is definitely not. We have a White Magneto pre-fight from another Alliance member giving me free parries, so it's literally just SP1, SP2. The fight is over. Heavy attack, unblockable special, and Spiral is completely annihilated. And that is my my war. So, the war, we did lose 3-7, so at least I don't feel like we single-handedly lost the war. I mean, I single-handedly lost the war, but I was the only death in my battle group, which would have given my BG its first donut, so that definitely feels bad, but, oh well, it is what it is. So 2-4 on the season. Every time we lose, it's because we matched an opponent that does 3 deaths or less, which just sucks because, I don't know. I just hate this tactic. I hate this tactic so much. But, yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.